Hello everyone, this is Bad Luck Bentley, which isn't my actual name, it's just the name of my Tumblr blog, and this is my video log for week 3 and it's all about GIFs. Okay, so I'm part of the blog from the New York Times. It gives us all the information about Steve Willett being the creator of the GIF, which actually stands for Graphic Interchange Format. If you don't know what a GIF is, then it's those little moving images that you see on the internet, basically, somewhere in between a movie and a picture, and it kind of like reminds me of like the original films, you know, where you hear about stories of these people used to go to the cinema and they'd be watching a small video and there'd be a train coming towards them and they'd all run out of the cinema. It's that kind of like experience when you see a GIF. It's like a constant loop, it's constantly going round, and you feel like there's no sort of end to it, which is deep and meaningful. Okay, so there's an article on New Republic that talks about Christopher Price, the editorial director of Tumblr, and what he says regarding GIFs and Tumblr is that he doesn't think Tumblr owes its success to GIFs. However, he thinks GIFs owe its success to Tumblr. Now, I agree with that, but anyone that's an editorial director of a big company is always going to say, oh yeah, my company's better than you and you're only good because my company helps you out. Yeah, that's just the way humans are, isn't it? Let's face it. Okay, so GIF Today by Daniel Rubinstein kind of goes a bit further into like the makeup of GIFs and the sort of the modernisation of them, I suppose. They've been around for a very long time, in fact, probably a little bit longer than me. I'm not that old, but you know. And basically the article, or the blog, because it is actually on Tumblr, this page, goes on to talk about how GIFs are like online versions of neon lights. There's some sort of, it's an attraction, and they've got like comical elements, and I kind of like comparing neon lights, or like physical neon lights, with GIFs being like a neon light. I can kind of see that. I like that idea because a neon light is something scientific, see how they work, but they're used as like in a showbiz setting. They're used for advertising. GIFs are used for advertising quite a lot of the time, not all the time, but yeah, it's sort of like, it's a nice little metaphor, I think. Better than last week's one about like jeans and memes and all that. I really like how Rubinstein goes on to talk about the sort of like, could call it the cultural capital behind a GIF. He talks about how it's only a minor art form, and how a GIF is sort of like, it's not really critics and sort of like collectors and kind of these artsy people don't really notice it as a sort of like a thing. It's not something that you'd expect to see in an art gallery, that kind of thing. You wouldn't expect to see a GIF go up for auction, you know, and make millions. But at the same time, in my opinion, that's what gives the GIF its attraction, because it's something that anyone could make, as I've proved this week. I've made 3, or I'm going to make 3. I've not actually made them yet, but I'm going to do a time-lapse video of some ham under a grill, which could be really interesting. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, Rubinstein talks about like how it kind of expands on a photograph, but it sort of takes out the meaning and the art of the photograph, because a lot of the time it's just mindless sort of loops and comedy, which I like, because that's what gives the GIF its authority on the internet. So overall, I can confirm that I've actually enjoyed this week's readings. Bit different to last week. Pretty interesting concepts, and I do like GIFs. GIFs are quite funny. I remember all the old ones on like MSN when you'd be talking to your mates, and like I was quite bad with them. I got to the point where I'd replace pretty much every single character on a keyboard with some sort of little GIF animation, so probably pretty tricky to understand what I was saying back then, but hey, I enjoyed it.